Hello, I'm Roberta Levin, the Associate Dean for Academic Programs, and I'm here to talk to you about professionalism in nursing and what it means to be a student and to practice professionalism. Professionalism is essentially an individual's conduct at work. If you're a nursing student, then school is your work. School's a full-time commitment for any nursing student, and it is where you learn the profession of nursing. We always say we play as we practice, and I know for most of you as students, you've either learned to play a musical instrument or you've been on a sports team and you've played as part of a team. What you learn and how you handle yourself in school will be reflected in how you practice when you're a registered nurse. Just like you would not be part of a basketball team and never practice, or do a clarinet recital or a cello recital having never practiced, you won't be a registered nurse without having practiced. Now, some of the things you practice when you're learning to play a musical instrument can be really boring. How many times can you play scales before you say, this isn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to learn to play music, and I'm not playing music. When can I play a song? Well, you play the song after you learn to play the scales. Those are an essential component of learning to play. As nurses, many of the things you do in school are part of what prepare you to learn to play the role of a registered nurse. And some of those things may make you crazy, but they're all essential. Our job is to help you practice so that when you work as a registered nurse, you will be ready. And part of that helping you to practice is helping you with the simple things that are more behavioral than they are a technical skill. Remember, school is your work. So to practice, you need to practice being on time. If you're in the hospital and you're 5 or you're 10 minutes late every day, what does that do to the person that you're relieving? That person may have children to pick up from school, or they may have aging parents to care for. They may be going to a graduate class. It may even be that they just need to go let the dog out because it's been locked up in the house all day. For whatever reason, you need to respect that person's time because you're going to want the person that replaces you on your shift to be on time, and you're going to want them to respect your time. So one of the first tasks we must learn is to be on time. So let me tell you the story about when I was in school. When I was in school, I worked my way through my undergraduate program working in a restaurant on campus. And one day I showed up to work and I was 5 minutes early for my shift. And my boss said, you need to call your father. He's getting ready to go look for you. And I said, why? And she said, well, you're late. And I said, I'm 5 minutes early. And she said, yeah, but you're always at least 15 minutes early. And she said, you're so predictable. When you weren't here, we thought something was wrong. You want to be that person as a nurse that if you don't show up on your time for your shift, they want to send somebody looking for you because you are so dependable. You need to be that person. And you're not just being that person because it's the right thing to do, but you're doing it because you care about your coworkers and you care about your patients. The next thing is to listen to others. And you want to make sure when you're listening that you give the person to whom you are listening 100% of your attention. You need to be fully present with that person. You need to open up your heart and your emotions to them and hear them. You can't do that if you're checking your phone, or if you're playing online, or if you're responding to emails, or if you're talking to someone else while you're in their room. What would happen if you were at work and you didn't listen to your patient or to your charge nurse? You could miss an important symptom that they are telling you. You could miss an important piece of information in the shift change report. The information could mean the difference between a speedy recovery for your patient or a serious complication. Just like you will want to be fully present with that patient, being fully present takes practice. It doesn't come naturally to us. So use class time to practice being fully present. Listen to the professor when they are speaking. Listen with your full intent. You need to have your ears wide open and hear everything they say and not be distracted by cell phones or email or social media. You want to treat others with respect. Always be respectful. Be respectful in your speech, in your writing, and in your public image. That image, that respect will carry with you everywhere you go, and it will impact the way others treat you. You don't want to be the person at work that disrespects others. You will need your full team one day. You will probably need your full team on a daily basis. And if they don't trust you, they will avoid you. It will make your work harder, and it will make you less effective in caring for your patients. What happens if you call your coworker a bitch or a swine, or even in jest say you want to kill them? The problem is going to be that you have damaged your professional reputation, you've damaged the working relationship, you've damaged the team cohesiveness. And the thing that happens is when you call for help, and you will need help as a registered nurse, when you call for help because something's going wrong with your patient, you want people to come to your aid. You want them all to want to help you because you are the person. You are that person everyone turns to. You're the one that always shows respect for everyone. It will be repaid to you. So, when faculty come to talk to you, frequently one of the things they will want to do is they will want to discuss your behavior as a student. And they'll want to talk to you about the behaviors that you need to have to be a nurse. Students should not take that as personal accusations, but rather as a coach helping a player to be that best player. Some of the things that you want to make sure that you don't do as students that will help you prepare for work is you don't want to pressure others into clinical groups. Just like at work, you wouldn't want to pressure other people into a work assignment they don't feel comfortable with or that they would be unhappy with. You don't want to be talking in class. Listen to the person speaking. Take turns talking. Listen to what your peers say. Sometimes it's the thing that a peer says in class, the question that they ask that flips a switch in your brain and you have that aha moment that you get it. Be really careful with your social media. People sometimes think that social media is private. I made it private. I limited who can see it. Yeah, anybody can take a screenshot of it. And if you take a screenshot of something and someone shares it, then it's no longer private. Many, many, many employers have a zero tolerance for inappropriate behavior on social media. People get fired every day in this country for posts on social media that are considered demeaning or derogatory or threatening. Many places have a zero tolerance policy for it. If you keep asking the same question that the person's asked before you, that generally means you weren't listening. Now, you may rephrase the question and say, I know that Sue just asked this question, and I heard you say, and you repeat the answer back, but I still don't understand. Can you help me? And it may be the case that a group setting like a class is never the place that you're going to understand. You're needing too much extra instruction. So you don't want to hold up the whole class, but you may say, can we discuss it after class? Just like if you were in a briefing about a patient, you may have a question, but you know that the end of shift, beginning of shift reports are time limited, and you may have something that requires more detail and other people need to move on. You may just want to talk one-on-one with the nurse that you're replacing and not hold up everyone else. Be on time. Do not be late for class. Treat class as practice for your first job. You cannot be late to work. You will get warned, and then you'll get reprimanded, and then you will get fired. Most employers have very little patience with people that are late. And there are all kinds of excuses that people will have for legitimately being late. Being in a car accident on the way to work would be an example of a good excuse for why you're late. Traffic is not. Every morning when I get up, I turn on the news and I listen to the traffic report and I wait for it to show, are there any wrecks anywhere? And if there are, I've downloaded Waze on my computer and I turn it on and I find a more direct way to work. But I also get up in time that if I know there's bad traffic, I can leave early. Now, there's going to be the once-a-year incident where there's a major traffic accident that might happen just in front of you. But in my 30 years of work, I've been late once. Once. You have to plan in advance. And you need to give yourself time so that if something does happen, you will not be late. There's nothing wrong with being 15 minutes early. And that is far better than being 5 minutes late. And you never want to be late for clinical either. Now, many schools have rules about clinical and what happens if you're late. Some schools say if you call, it's okay. And others say, no, not calling is good. A no call, no show is a failure in almost any school. And in most schools, 2 missed clinicals is a failure. So I can tell you at UMSL, if you miss 2 clinicals, that is a failure in clinical. Being late is counted as a miss. You can't be late. You need to be on time. It's why you practice being on time for class. Being on time for clinical is practice for the day that you will be a registered nurse. And if you don't think that it matters, I will tell you one more story about being at work and being on time or being early. When I was working at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Washington, D.C., after I had been there a few years, one of our patients, and it was a large psychiatric facility, came up to me and he said, "You love your job more than anybody here." And I said, "I do love my job. What makes you think that?" And he told me, he said, "You always come in early." And he said, "And you always stay a little late." And he said, we noticed. People do notice, and your bosses notice. And you may think that people don't care, but they do. And it will forever form their impression of you in a positive way if you're the person that shows up just a little early every day and isn't the person rushing out the door as soon as the clock strikes whatever time you leave. So you have to tell yourself it ends today. I am an adult, and any unprofessional behavior I may have ever had in life ended the day I was accepted into my nursing program. The day I was accepted into those upper division nursing classes, all unprofessionalism ended that day. And the reason you do that is because by the time you make it through your 2 years of your nursing program, of your upper division courses in nursing, and you have practiced professionalism every day, it will be natural to you the first time you walk on that unit, and people will notice. And they will be happy that you are working with them. And they will know that you were well trained and that you were well prepared. And you will gain their trust and you will gain their respect. So practice today, practice tomorrow, and practice every day professional behavior. Thank you.